Question number one, can you tell us about yourself and your background prior to becoming a mortgage advisor?
So this is an interesting question because my life prior to being a mortgage advisor was literally school. I mean, I grew up in Buffalo, and right out of college, I somehow landed into the mortgage industry, like a lot of my colleagues in this business. And so my journey started right out of the gate. And I can tell you with certainty now, almost 25 years later, that having that early experience with the right company, the right team, the right mentors, and education allowed me to really excel in my career to where I am today. So although I didn't have much else outside of this, maybe some family business experience with my dad and my father back home, he owned the business. I went right into it out of college and went to an interview at a bank, and they said, "So what do you know about mortgages?" I go, "Nothing, something to do about a house, right?" And sure enough, I got hired because they knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and they said, "This guy, okay, we'll throw him in there and see what he does." And 25 years later, here I am.
What initially drew you into the mortgage industry?
Well, I mean, truthfully, it was a job. And I think that's okay to me to recognize at this point in my life, because I realize how lucky I am to have landed in this industry and how fortunate I've been to be a part of it for all these years. And so for me, I was open-minded. I was excited to experience working in a more corporate environment, also outside of the family business. Like I had mentioned, I grew up in a family business. My father owned a company for many years at that point, and so everybody just assumed I was going to go work in the family business, and it was certainly an option. But for me, I wanted to experience and grow something outside of my comfort zone, and so interviewing with M&T Bank at the time, a large super regional bank out of Buffalo, it was an opportunity for me to really go on my own and prove success to not just myself, but family, friends, etc. And I realized very quickly what an awesome industry it was, and what we were truly doing in our work. We were helping people buy homes. And to me, that's what I think ultimately has shaped everything going forward, is remembering the core component of what we do. It's creating the dream of homeownership for people. So for me, I landed on it. I needed a job out of college, and now it's become a career that I can't look back on and with any regret in terms of the ups and downs that get to where I am today, because at the end of the day, I'm helping people and families own a home, and that's really special.
Okay. What is something surprising or a little known fact about you?
Gosh, well, you learn this about me from the beginning when you meet me, that I'm pretty much an open book. So I oftentimes find that I'm brutally honest, I'm direct, and that's sort of where I come from in my life and my family. So if you have the opportunity to work together, you're gonna know who I am, because that's just who I am. My mother teases me because, growing up and thinking of what is your kid gonna be when they grow up, it's always, she's like, "Well, you should have been a vet. You love animals." Or I started to cut hair, so I cut all my friends' hair back in high school and college. "You should have been a barber." And so you go through all this different things that you're good at, or you've got some interest in, and then at the end of the day, I'm a mortgage guy. And so 25 years later, my mother still doesn't know what I do for a living, and she still thinks I should just be a barber. So if anybody wants a mortgage and a haircut, by all means, I'm your guy.
So how would your closest friends or family describe you in 3 words?
So in full transparency, Jay gave me this question ahead of time, and it's kind of hard to answer because, of course, I'm also Italian, so I talk a lot. So trying to give a 3-word answer to a question, as you're probably learning, is very difficult for me. I will say loyalty, dedication, and drive. I'm loyal to a fault when it comes to my family and friends and people I care about. And I'm driven. I'm driven to not just excel with my work, but in life, and trying to make sure that I provide my clients the best experience, and that I am myself, the best version of myself. And so part of that is all intertwined with what I do personally and my life, and also professionally.
Why is helping people secure mortgage personally important to you? beyond just financial?
Well, I think the financial reasons is a core component of it, because you're helping people truly build wealth. You're helping them find a pathway beyond working a 40-hour work week to truly create independence and financial freedom in their life, which is, in real estate, is the fastest and most efficient path to do that. But as far as, what drives me, it's when you're working through a mortgage, it's a process. It's not like you go into a store and buy a pair of sneakers, right? It's a process, it's a journey, and you have to get real deep with people. You have to understand, hey, what are your goals? What are your expectations? And we have to map out a path together. So you build a relationship with these folks that you're working with, not just because it's a financial decision, but it's a personal decision. It's something that is going to be remembered for their entire life, especially the first time buying a home. So working with first-time home buyers is something really special. It's hard to describe for folks that aren't in this business, in this industry, because when you experience the joy and the excitement, and oftentimes just the pure emotion that people, when they own the house and get the keys to that house, it's the best thing in the world. So to me, being a part of an industry that you get to experience that journey and that experience with people, it's like nothing else. So for me, that's the most rewarding part.
Was there a defining moment or an experience you went through where it clicked?
I think it really hit home when I worked with my first time home buyer and one of my first mortgages 25 years ago. And at the time, you learn the business, you learn the process to do the loan, to do a mortgage. And that's part of it. That's really helped me become, well-versed in what I do. But it didn't really hit me until that first time home buyer and my first mortgage, to experience that with them. There is this personal connection you form that is part of that journey that you were a part of, that really cemented my interest to continue forward in this business and this industry. And truthfully, as I started looking at maybe other things I should be doing in my life, for example, going to work with a family business or going off on my own to do something else, I would always go back to, this is an industry that is going to continue to be relevant. It's going to be important, and you need to have really good people part of it. So the responsibility of being a part of this industry and what you're doing in it and the people you're serving, to me, it's like nothing else.
What keeps you motivated to just keep fighting through?
Who has lived through the industry now for over 20 years, especially during the big crash of '08. I was in a regional manager role at the time. So I saw that crash build up and then eventually explode at a very different level than a lot of my peers in this industry, because of the position I was in. And that gave me a unique perspective in recognizing, the ebbs and flows of this industry, the ups and downs, the seasons, as we might call them. And that if we can get through that, we can get through anything. And that you also learn good people find a way to find success no matter what the challenges are. And as I described earlier, challenge does create opportunity. And so even though the industry has gone through its ebbs and flows, and as you mentioned, the last couple of years have been no exception, folks like myself that are really passionate and driven, and we believe are serving our clients well and doing a great job with this, we're still finding success. And that's what's most important. Every industry is going to have their challenges, economically, financially, but this industry is relevant, it's needed. People still look for the right people to work with. And if you can still fill those needs, you're going to find success.
What legacy or lasting impact do you hope to leave through the work that you're doing in the mortgage industry?
I think at the end of the day, when you are part of this journey with a client, you're going to leave a legacy. You're going to leave a memory behind of how you helped them buy their first house. So the legacy, I feel, is just built into the process and what it is we do in this industry. And so it's not as if I'm trying to, have a building with my name on it. It's every single memory of the clients I'm helping to serve and what what they're going through to buy a home. If I do a good job and if I'm able to fill those expectations and deliver, that is going to be the legacy I'm most looking forward to. And so they're going to say, oh yeah, Jim helped me with his first mortgage 20 years ago, and I'm leaving this house to my kid, or I'm moving up, or I'm moving to a different state. Whatever the case is, they're going to remember that this was a journey that they experienced and that they enjoyed, because it can be scary. It can be a big scary process. And so from that standpoint, the business in and of itself helps you create legacy because of what you're doing. You're not, people just don't go in and have a transaction and they're done. This, for me, is a relationship we build for life. As far as helping to grow and support and manage a team, that to me also is a whole different set of what I find to be valuable and what I think is something I hold near and dear to me as a professional. Because truthfully, if you can do something well and you can help share that and educate and mentor others, that's the highest form of success, is being able to show and evidence what you're doing to help others develop and grow what they're doing. And so for me, leading and managing a team is sort of a byproduct, but an intentional one, so to speak, because I feel like if I'm doing this really well and others see that and they want to be a part of this, I love it. I think I was a manager first in my career for many, many years. And so I grew up as sort of in a manager capacity, and it's helped serve me well both on my own personal production and how I perform my business, but also when I work with other folks that want to be in this position.
Do you have a specific areas of mortgage lending like that you specialize?
I'm not one of these mortgage professionals that just focuses on one area or one client. I think everyone deserves to have a great experience, to be with a lending partner that's going to help make sure they're finding the right solution for them. And so for me, first-time homebuyers are wonderful to work with. That, as I've been describing, is an experience and a lasting memory that you do a great job. You're building not just a relationship in a professional capacity, but personally helping these folks. And then you've got people that you've helped in the past that may want to refinance to help either pay off some debt or a new home improvement project. So absolutely, we're going to customize and tailor a mortgage, a financing solution that's the best fit for you. And so why CMG, why the company I'm with now, I think is exceptional and the most innovative lender in the country, are some of the products that we've developed and built and engineered from the ground up. One of them in particular is our all-in-one product. This is a proprietary loan that we have integrated with your checking account and has a sweet banking function that allows you to accelerate paying off your house, reducing your cost of interest, giving you financial flexibility and freedom like no other loan out there in existence, and allows you to truly take control of your financial goals and your ability to build wealth and grow your net worth. So that is a separate product that I truly look at as a differentiator, and that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about introducing to the right client, because it's not right for everybody. But if you are somebody that is, it fits the clientele base, we're going to talk about that for sure. Another program we have is designed for first-time home buyers. And this product is called our Home Funded. It's a, again, specific proprietary loan that CMG has developed over 15 years ago now. And it's a crowdsourcing down payment assistance. And we looked at how beneficial platforms such as GoFundMe can be to help folks raise money for various needs or events or situations. And we took that concept and built it into a down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers. And think about how incredible that is, because everybody wants to help. Family, friends, people want to contribute or help this journey, this experience, whether you're buying your first home, you're having a new child, or you're getting married. All of these life circumstances and events, people that care about you and love you, they want to know how they can help. Well, CMG developed a way to do that easily, efficiently, and a click of a button. So we will build out a campaign similar to a GoFundMe that allows us to market and help you promote this exciting new journey and chapter in your life And then we are able to take those funds and put towards your new home in the future.
Who is the right type of client that could potentially benefit from something?
If you remember when CrossFit came in the scene years ago, everyone talked about CrossFit. I feel like, and I share this with my colleagues, I'm like the CrossFit guy of all-in-one loans. It's a product that even in my 20 plus years of being in this industry, I had never heard of. I had heard some bits and pieces of what this thing was, but it was so foreign to me, even as a mortgage professional, even as a regional manager in the capacity I was in. And that's because nobody else has it. So if this loan's been around for 20 years, and unless you're talking to a CMG loan officer or somebody affiliated with our company, the average loan officer is not going to bring it up because they don't promote it, they don't sell it, right? So what makes me excited about this is that the prototypical client that can fit this mold of the product is, you've got to have good financial discipline. You've got to know how to manage your money well. You've got to have good credit standards. So it's built and designed for people that recognize that a mortgage is a necessary end to buy a home oftentimes, but it's not the best financing instrument for borrowing money. Because at the end of the day, 30-year fixed mortgage was developed after World War II when economies were crushed. They needed to find ways to help affordability and homeownership grow in the country. And if you think about what a 30-year fixed mortgage is, it's strictly a structured repayment plan that you're spreading the largest debt in your life over 30 years. And if you look at a standard amortization schedule, which is basically showing you how much interest and principal you're paying throughout the life of that structured loan, that first 15 years is predominantly interest. So therefore, yeah, you have affordability, ways to get into a home, but the financing instrument itself is flawed in some ways, right? It's really designed to help generate a large interest to the institutions that are offering it and spreading out the ability for the average homeowner to actually own their home. And so CMG 20 years ago looked at this model and said, there's a better way to do this. And we developed this product off of how other countries actually acquire real estate in New Zealand, Australia. And this product effectively is a principal first repayment plan, which is foreign to any type of loan out there in existence today. You think about car loans, credit cards, you're paying your interest first no matter what. So the concept itself is, and you can tell why I get excited and wake up talking about the all-in-one, because it truly does change the conversation about how you buy real estate, how do you build wealth, and the right clients, when we evaluate their needs, we're going to talk about it. And it may not be the right fit for you, but I always feel that the education part is something I find very valuable, and I hope my clients do as well. Just as you would normally through any mortgage application or experience working with me, I work directly with my clients from start to finish. In other words, I'm not just taking an application and passing you off. This is, when you work with Jim DeMarco, you're going to work with me. I'm going to be accessible to you. I'm going to understand your goals, your needs, what's important for you and your family. So for me, that is a process built into every person I talk to. And as it relates to some of these specialty loans, we're absolutely going to find out, hey, is this something that might be the right fit? And then we're going to talk about it.
What do clients appreciate about you?
So I think the accessibility part is paramount. In this industry, there's a lot of avenues where the person's removed from, or the professional's removed from the equation. In other words, whether it be online or different companies that might have more of a transactional based process. This is a huge decision for people. And I know it feels sometimes that it can get away from that because people just want maybe a payment or an interest rate. But then you find out really that it's much more than that. And so having accessibility to myself is not just important for me from an education standpoint or to make sure I'm serving my clients well, but it's to help you as a client really experience and recognize the importance of this decision and maybe making sure we're asking the right questions to find out what's truly important to you, what are your needs? Because sometimes having the lowest payment isn't always the best solution, or what's my interest rate might just be a very broad question that's hard for us to really look at and say, well, here's your interest rate, but here's your cost. So for us, there's a conversation we want to have about what's your long-term plan? How long are you going to be in this house? Is it going to be 5 or 7 years? Are you going to be here forever? So the different ways in which we approach this is personalized, is customized, and that's what differentiates me and my team, is being able to truly hone in on you and your specific needs and what your goals are, rather than just telling you what is the main question of what's my payment.
What's the greatest compliment you received from a client?
Well, not to to be humble, but still be proud of what I do. When you get clients that say, "This was the best experience I've ever had in buying a home," or "You helped us save the day," or made our dreams come true with this house. I mean, that to me is powerful. And so there's not one in particular that stands out, because truthfully, I'm very fortunate to have had a lot of clients that in one way, shape, or form or another have said, without you, I don't know how we would have done this. And that's part of the experience I maintain and I hold at a high level. And that keeps me driven to continue to perform and excel at a high level, because that to me is the most rewarding part of this industry, of my job, is to ensure that your experience at the end is going to be exceptional. And so I'm not sure if there's one in particular. There's many, but I could think of a few. But in that sense, I think that's just sort of the broader goal for me is making sure everybody feels the same way.
Can you describe typically the clientele you work with in terms of like where they are? Where are most of your clients?
I'm home based in Seattle, Washington. So the majority of Pacific Northwest. I do a lot of business in the Pacific Northwest. The West Coast, including Arizona. Like I had mentioned, I've spent a lot of time in Arizona early in my career. And of course, New York, with all my family and friends in upstate New York. So love to work with you, but those are my primarily states that I have the most business from clients.
So how do people find you from, like, you live in Seattle, but then like how do people find you from like all over the country?
So that question is really at the heart of our industry in general, in terms of how do you find the right loan officer, the right mortgage professional. It's oftentimes from word of mouth, from people or from a real estate professional that you might be working with. And if they don't, the opportunity to share more on who I am and what I do and how I help support you. So primarily it's from referral partners or past clients, family, friends. Like I said, sometimes I have to remind my mother what I do for a living, being a mortgage guy. She's like, what is that? I'm like, well, when people buy houses. So it's constantly trying to be in front of folks to make sure they know when it's right to call, or if it's applicable, because not everybody might realize that I also do refinances. It's not just purchase mortgages. So there's a lot of ways in which we want to make sure we reach out and we engage with our friends and family and our business partners.
What is the one advice that you constantly give and consistently give to those who are kind of coming to you for seeking help and seeking solutions?
Well, in this market, a lot of times the question is asked, is it a good time? Whether it be, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to refinance? And since I started my career, over 20 years ago, the answer really remains the same. It's right when it's right for you. And so we want to really take a broader look at, what are you trying to accomplish? What are your goals? What are you struggling with? So for me, the questions are, is it the right time to buy or to sell? Or, if I'm looking to refinance. So it really could be individual. It's personal. This mortgage business is, and if anybody that tells you otherwise, I think are being a little bit disingenuous. I think that everybody in every family, every person is going to have a different story, a different need, a different goal. So my job is to ensure that I'm answering the question with asking the right questions. And that to me is what I think makes me different, and how I approach my business different than most people.
Okay. Now we're gonna hop on the time machine, and let's say you're face to face with the year one mortgage advisor, Jim DeMarco. Like, what is the biggest thing, like biggest advice that you would give back at him?
Buckle up. I mean, truthfully, this is an industry that it's as giving as it is taking. And I say that in a way that you have to have resolve. You have to be patient. You have to be driven, and you have to be willing to do the work necessary to get through the ebbs and flows of the industry. And as a young guy, I remember I was a little bit impatient. I mean, part of my story about how I ended up in Phoenix, Arizona from Buffalo was, yeah, I wanted some more sunshine in my life, I guess. But I had left a pretty decent job because I thought there would be more opportunity. And when I got there, I realized very quickly, like, yeah, it was a good decision ultimately for me in my life and my career. But I realized very quickly that being impatient and not going through the process and the motion that you're supposed to really develop and grow your business in the way you need to, you might have some setbacks. But for me, I was very fortunate to be able to land in the place I was and to experience what I did, whether it be rejoining M&T Bank in Phoenix, where I didn't even know they had an operation, where I got into wholesale lending. And the wholesale side of our business was very different, but it also gave me a lot of educational opportunities. And then eventually the regional manager retired, and by chance, being in the right place, the right time, and putting myself in a position for success, building out a business plan, ensuring that I'd be the right fit for the job, I was elevated into a regional manager role when I was 26 years old. So I was put in a position because of taking some risk and chances, but also believing in myself and what I can do. And so going back and thinking back to your core question of what advice I would get, it would be buckle up. You're in it for the long haul, whether you like it or not sometimes, but this industry will give and give as much as you give into it. I always look back to my senior year high school quote for our yearbook, and my friends will all laugh at me about this because to this day I still live by it. It's the quality of your life is dependent upon the quality of the people in your life, and it stuck with me all these years because it's so important to surround yourself by good people, personally and professionally, right? And so for me, that motto still today remains true, whether it be the team I surround myself by, the clients I work with, the business professionals that I serve. And so being a quality person myself and surrounding myself by quality. And what I mean by quality is, integrity, thoughtfulness, people that are going to look out for what's in your best interest, not just for yourself. And having those relationships really deep and rewarding are one of my biggest joys in life, whether it be the friendships I built, the clients I serve. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to say that I've lived up to that motto, at least I hope I have, and will continue to, since very early on in my life.
We've got our final question. If there is a movie made about you, what would it be called, and who's playing Jim DeMarco?
I saw this question and I try to put some thought into it, and I don't know. God, the movie, I don't know, The Great Escape. I don't know if that even existed. I think there's a movie called that, but I left Buffalo, and I left Buffalo coming from a big family. I have 7 siblings. They're near and dear to me. I love them all. A big, warm, and welcoming Italian family that helped me become who I am today. And I left very early in my life, and it was a big risk. I don't say escape in a negative way, but for me to move on and leave that comfort zone to become and grow who I am today. I don't know if there's a movie title for it, but maybe Jay, you're a marketing guy. But I think that, who would play me? Gosh, I don't know, Tom Cruise or, Robert Downey Jr. I'm trying to think of somebody who's got a good head of hair still. I don't know. I feel like that's still something I got going on. So I think just finding, having a journey of uncertainty, a character that is willing to take chance and risk, knowing that they had a very comfortable opportunity to stay where they were, but decided to go against all things telling them otherwise, to move to a place they didn't know. And then years later, moved to another city that they didn't know anybody and had to start completely all over again in your early 30s. So for me, the journey and the story is always about taking risks, but doing so knowing that it's going to help you grow and develop to be a better version of yourself.